Hello, welcome to Amazing Adventures. I'm Chris.
And I'm Tovah.
Today we're going to be talking about the great debate of do we buy or do you rent as expats?
So we are becoming expats. We've got about 17 months left here in Canada, and then we're selling everything that we own and we're moving to Nicaragua. So this great debate about should you rent, should you buy, that's not just an expat question. That's a Canada, US, everywhere around the world question. And so we're gonna go through kind of the decision-making process that we had in terms of deciding whether we want to buy or whether we want to rent, because spoiler alert, we have already bought our retirement home in San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua.
We might be a little bit biased because we already bought our house in Nicaragua.
And we also currently own 5 properties here in Canada. So in the sense that we do think real estate is a good investment because it's been really one of the biggest things that we've invested in, and that is how we're going to retire early. So we know that you can make money on real estate and it can be a good option, but you do need to weigh all the factors. We're not going to tell you that renting is the best or buying is the best. It really depends on you and the situation that you're in.
So you want to go and buy when the market is low and has potential to go up a little bit, go a little bit up in value. So the best thing is to see how the market is reacting. Is the market, lower than expected?
Yeah, so like Chris said, you want to look at what the market is currently doing in whatever place you're looking at buying. So we did decide to settle and retire early in Nicaragua, but we also looked at Costa Rica as another opportunity. And those countries are side by side, they border one another. And if you look at what the real estate market is doing in Costa Rica has become quite touristy. The real estate market is really picking up there. So homes are fairly expensive there. So if you look at not only what's the market currently at, but where can it go? A place like Costa Rica, you're gonna buy high, and because it's already high, it's probably not gonna go up that much more in value because every place only has a certain amount of potential to go up or down. So when we look at Nicaragua, it actually is a buyer's market right now, meaning that it's nice and low, about the lowest is it has been in quite a long time, and probably it's not getting any lower. So it really was a good time to buy. And then we just needed to decide if we'd rather buy or if we'd rather rent.
Not only did we look at Nicaragua and Costa Rica as places to retire, we looked at Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and we also looked at Panama and Ecuador in South America.
When we were shopping in Nicaragua, we were kind of originally looking to rent when we were down in Central America, and we weighed all the options of renting versus buying, and we thought that we would become renters. So we went in that way of, renting, looking down that path, what it costs to go and rent. And we found that, unfortunately, in Nicaragua, they were going through some civil unrest. So we kind of felt it was a little bit of an opportunity for us to buy instead of rent. The prices have dropped quite a bit while we were there. So we shopped around while we were traveling, and we looked at renting, we looked at buying, we discussed it, and we decided that the market was just right to go up in the future. So we decided to buy.
Yeah, and really it's been a great financial decision for us thus far. The housing market right now, we've owned the house almost for a year, and the market not only has stabilized, it's not going down, but it's actually starting to pick back up. So with more tourism starting to come in and things starting to get back to the new normal from COVID, the forecast is that the market is only going to increase in Nicaragua, and it was much higher a few years ago. So we definitely see that it's going to move back to that place at some point. Not that we're looking to sell anytime soon, but just having that house as an investment. Like we said, we're selling everything, so this will be the only house that we own. It's not a vacation home or a second house for us. It will be our primary residence.
We're moving because we're retiring, and Central America has always been our passion to dream, our dream to move to. So that's why we're moving. But lots of people are thinking about moving abroad.
Going to a place that has more offerings in terms of travel and just a slower pace of life.
A lot of people have decided to leave their home country, US or Canada or Europe, because of restrictions and regulations, and they want to go and have more of a free life. So they've decided to move to Central America. It's very popular. Nicaragua is a very popular spot that doesn't have very many restrictions. You have a lot of freedoms, so it's quite popular.
Yeah, definitely. And that's only helping the housing market increase in Nicaragua. So another thing to consider if you're an expat and you're thinking about buying abroad is, can you afford it? So is it going to be your primary residence? Is it going to be a vacation or summer home? Are you just looking to snowbird there? And also realize, and this was one thing that we found out when we started house shopping, is that in a lot of Central American countries, the mortgages are not like they are here. And when I say their mortgages are not like they are here, they really don't have mortgages. So for the most part, you have to buy the house in cash. There are some circumstances where you might get a very short mortgage, and they call it owner financing, where you would pay a lump sum to the owner to buy the house, 50%, 75% of the total cost, and then you would pay the rest of the fees over like a 1 to 3 year term with quite a high interest rate. So buying in some of those countries isn't always an option for people, depending on where you currently are financially. We were in a place with our other real estate back in Canada that we could pay cash for a house. So we now own that house outright and we're ready for retirement.
One thing you want to go and consider is if you want to invest that much money into a house instead of into an investment that's going to grow. So say $200,000 for a house. That $200,000 is paid for all up front. So that money could have been invested into the stock market.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely great options or reasons to rent as well. It means that you're not tied down. You can choose to move around a lot. You can pick up and go quite easily and move to a different city, move to a different country. The options really are yours. But for us, we ended up settling on renting because we kind of thought it would be nice to have put down a little bit of roots and kind of have a home base. And we also thought it would be pretty nice and enjoyable for our dogs to have a home.
So even though we're going to still travel around quite a bit, while we're not there, if we're not going to be there for, say, 6 months, we have private managers to go and take care of our house for us.
If you're interested, we'll put the link in the description to our Airbnb site.
So, like always, we may change our mind in the future. We may sell our house and become renters. You never know. The debate's going to continue on for probably forever.
Yeah.
So it all depends on your situation and what's going on in your life at that time.
Yeah, and if you are interested in learning more specifically about our journey and how we bought a house in Nicaragua, all the steps we took and the ins and outs, stay tuned for our next video.
Thank you for joining us today. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe, like, leave a comment.
And we'll see you next time.